Now, as per norm on Weekend Live, around this time of the program, we turn our attention to one of these structures around us. A Durban-based architect took us to the ICC last week while we were there for the tourism indaba. Bharti Vithal loves the likeness and relevance of the building to its environment.
It was finished in about 1998. And the significance of this site really is that it's been it was previously the Durban Central Prison. And as a building, the Durban Central Prison was quite a solid block, and really it stymied any kind of meaningful connection that the city wanted to make in terms of where the barrier is, where the city centre is, and most importantly where the beachfront is. So when the building was conceived, it was conceived very much, if you like, as a very democratic building, is that it engaged with the city on a number of levels. So the way the building's designed is such that it's completely transparent to people going past the building. It maintains its connections with the building, and really its symbolism really is in the fact that it's a forum for discussion and debate. And I think what makes this building really South African is that it was designed by South African architects, it was built in South Africa, and the fact is that it engages with the city on a level that deals with city issues. It deals with things like our climate and our weather, in terms of how it addresses in terms of the overhangs that it provides, and I think also it engages on very much on a visual level as well. You know, if you look at the city, if you look at the building, it's very much an architecture of undulating roofs with a very light sort of fenestration that goes all the way around, and that's really what's and it's really reminiscent of the ocean as such. So it's very much a contextual building. You know, when we talk about sort of iconic buildings, is that an appropriate description of a building? What does it evoke when you talk about an iconic building? You know, is it a building that celebrates itself? Or is it really a building that engages with its context and its environment on a number of levels, on a level of city making, on a level of engaging with public, on a cultural level, on a social and democratic level? Are those much more iconic buildings that will then outlast the more sort of look at me kind of buildings, I think? And I think that's what's significant about this building. But I think the steel has been used in a very sensitive way, in that it's very much a light architecture, so it enhances that whole feeling of transparency, so you can look into the building. And I think that also enhances the whole drive by the city architects to make this building more of a public building. Certainly when it was designed, there was a great conscious effort to ensure that there was a lot of greenery and greening, and appropriate greenery, so that it actually shaded the building when it needed to, and dealt with all the sustainable issues as well, I think. So yes, you may think the approach is quite hard, but I think there's a practicality of dealing with sort of, you know, at some events like the Indaba at the moment of 13,000 delegates, and at some events when we have big concerts of 50,000 people coming through the doors. So it has to have both qualities, I think, because it deals with quite small events, but it also deals with bigger events. And that, I think, is its success really, is the fact that it's able to adapt to the very small events, which makes it far more accessible to the general public of Durban, I think.